Hey, what's going on, guys? I hope you guys are having a good day. I'm Dr. Boyce Watkins from Your Black World and the Black Business School. And I wanted to talk about something that's a little bit different from what I might normally talk about. But I am a father. I have a daughter and stepdaughters and godkids and things like that. And it has to do with this Miami model. There's a lady, they called her Miss Miami. Her name's Courtney Barnes. And Courtney Barnes, she is known for having a really, really, really large ass. And it wasn't natural. There ain't nothing that looks natural about that booty. It's like her body goes this way, and then suddenly it takes like a hook, like a real sharp turn. And I don't know if you guys saw the picture in the live stream or not. If you haven't seen it, what I'll do is I'll try to pull it up on the screen so you can see it. And she gave an interesting message. I found it really interesting. She says that according to the Griot, she's just written a book about illegal butt injections that stretched her butt out to about almost 60 inches, 59 inches to be exact. And she's 35 years old now. She started getting the injections in 2006 when she was 22 years old. Since that time, Miss Barnes, known as Miss Miami, has become an Instagram star with nearly 1 million followers, but is now recounting her perils with butt implants as a precautionary tale. Now, I see you in here from Raleigh. I see Baltimore, Minnesota. Diane, how you doing? That's the type of women men want. MJ from Columbus, Cherry from Dallas. Yeah, let's talk about that for a minute, okay? What's fascinating is, men. I think I think that I felt compelled to talk about it because I only had one experience with this whole big booty illegal injection culture. It happened back in about 2009. I used to write for AOL Black Voices. I've told you guys that story. I used to write for them for free because I wanted them to help me to get my brand out there. That's why I was telling you guys, do work for free. That's a great way to get your business started and get your name out there. So anyway, I'd written this article about Lawrence Taylor, the NFL star, and Lawrence was a guy who who had just gotten locked up in this situation that involved allegedly an underage girl. Well, anyway, when I was covering that particular story, I got an email from somebody who was basically telling me like, it's all bullshit, Dr. Boyce, like this ain't what really happened. I know those girls and I know that they lie and blah, 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 blah. So I called the lady back because I was really curious. I was like, well, what's the other side to this? Is there another side to this? And she said something that really got my attention. She told a story about a group of women that she knew very well who would set men up. That basically they did what Cardi B confessed to. Remember, Cardi B was talking about how she would set up men so she could drug them and take their money and violate them sexually and things like that by putting a tranny in the bed with them and all that. Well, these women were doing Cardi B type activities. They were all teenagers, though. They were all teenage girls who looked really sweet and innocent on the surface, but they weren't sweet and innocent. They would just take advantage of men who would sleep with any woman as long as she was cute, had a big booty or whatever. And so anyway, she told me an interesting story about how these women would like get the men in a hotel room, get them alone, and then they would, give them a date rape drug without them knowing. And then they would blackmail. They would put the 15-year-old girl in the bed with the man. Even if he said, I didn't want to sleep with an underage girl, they would put the underage girl in the bed with the man. And then they would take pictures and they would blackmail the man with the pictures after he woke up. And they would get about 10 grand from these guys because these athletes, $10,000 ain't that much money for them. So long story short, I asked the lady, I said, what do you do? How do you know them? Like, are you one of them? And she said, no, I'm a butt doctor, or I work with a butt doctor. I said, what is a butt doctor? And she said, they do the butt injections. He comes from Brazil, and the strippers you make appointments, and they all go get their booties pumped up like bicycle tires, So anyway, that really kind of made me intrigued with kind of just that whole culture. Like, no one really knows much about it. But it's obviously very, very dangerous. I don't know if you all saw the lady who who lost, her legs. She lost her legs and her arms because she got some butt injections that went bad, and she ended up getting an infection, and she ended up, like literally, I think she has no arms and no legs now because they had to amputate everything to keep her alive, and so, when I see this culture, what I really see is I see something that's a little bit weird and dysfunctional. I'm gonna tell you, I know a lot of guys. I don't think there's any shame in men enjoying a black woman's curves, right? Black women got curves like no other, and I don't think there's anything wrong with appreciating that. But what concerns me is the fact that you have women that don't have the curves, that don't have the big booties or whatever, that are left to feel like they're less than, that are left to feel that they can't, that they can't compete with the women that have, the big booty and all that other stuff. And I think what I want to kind of say to women, for sure, as a man, is, I wouldn't let that stuff bother you too much, only in the sense that it is true that men do like that, right? Just like height, like women like tall men, right? I'm not a tall man. I can't. When I was much younger, I used to date online actually for a little while. I stopped doing it because I didn't like it. But I literally would have women email me back and say, "I'm sorry, but I don't date anyone who's under 6 feet tall." Now, percentage-wise, only about 5 to 10% of the male population is above 6 feet tall, ladies. So just so you know that if that's your standard, just know you're cutting out like 90% of the men. But, it's not to say that being under 6 feet tall means that you're out of the game. There's other ways you can compete, other factors that can get you what you want. The other thing about it, too, is I think that a lot of women, when I see these Instagram models, these young girls who think that, that they're getting genuine affection from men by getting lots of likes and hearts and shares and everything else because she's got her big booty flashed all over the place on Instagram, I don't think they understand what they're really getting. Like, I think that they think they're getting something that actually matters, something that actually has value for, in terms of, genuine love and appreciation from a man. You're not getting that. You're getting really, it's not even really like them that's hitting the like button. It's their dicks. It's like their penises are hitting the like button. Like you're getting something from them that's very base, something that's not connected to, relationships, marriage, commitment, love, none of that. And I think that if you really look inside the lives of the women that live this way, that really love to show everything and, on the internet, you're going to find a lot of unhappy, sad women who are very disappointed in men. I think they're very sad in the sense that I think that they kind of think that all these men that are interested in them, one of them might really want to love them and really want to be with them and really respect them. If a man is only attracted to you because of your body, then that's really kind of all he might see. So in a way, I'll give you the male equivalent of that. I've been kind of famous for a while. I mean, I'm not bragging about it. It's just true. I go places, I sign autographs, I get mobbed. I have to get rushed out by security so nobody, it happens. I'm not making this up. It's just true. And what happens when you become famous, for some reason, you get these people that might as well be called groupies, right? Groupies who just are very excited about the fact that they get to be around a powerful man. The women that they just want to sleep with a powerful man. And it's easy to think that groupie attention is genuine attention from a woman. And what I found is that actually groupie attention is driven by almost like a fascination, almost like a, how can I describe it? Almost like they want to get it out of their system. Like they want to, like you become a notch in their belt. They just want to say that they were with you. But what happens is that people like that don't really actually love you. They don't really, their capacity to really want to be with you, their capacity to really deeply care about you and really see you as a human being is much lower because they're seeing you as Superman. And a lot of people only like Superman. They don't like Clark Kent. So when you start showing them the other side of yourself that's vulnerable and not perfect and not the big superstar, I think that they get disappointed. So I think the same thing happens with these men that are chasing these women on Instagram with the big booties or the perfect makeup and all that stuff. When he gets to really know you as a person, he may be disappointed with what he sees. When you take off all that makeup that's making you beautiful online, he might walk away. He might be like, wait a minute. I like the girl on Instagram. I don't like you. I don't like you. And so I think that there's a reason to give encouragement to the women who are who present themselves as decent, respectable women, who lead with the brain first and the booty second, instead of the booty first and the brain second. When you lead with the booty first and the brain second, unfortunately, sometimes it can be almost like giving a child his dessert before you give him his meal. Some kids ain't gonna eat the green beans after they done had the motherfucking chocolate cake. They don't want the spinach when they done had the ice cream. They fill with ice cream. And when they come back to your house, they're not gonna come to your house looking for the green beans. They're coming back looking for the ice cream. And so I think that's important. I like to share little things like this that come to mind. Not because I'm an authority, not because I'm an expert, not because I'm perfect, not because I know everything, but because I'm a father. And a lot of young ladies don't have fathers giving them this kind of information. They don't have fathers or older brothers that tell them how men think, and that all male attention ain't good attention. Some attention you just don't want. And the women that do best, the women that seem to be happiest and less disappointed in men, I believe, are the women who get quality. They attract quality as opposed to quantity. I see, I flip through Instagram and I see it. I know everybody knows. I put myself out there. I'm a man. I'm a heterosexual male. And if you show me a sexy black woman, I might do a double take. But don't you think for a second that seeing that is going to compare to what I got over there, what I got upstairs. Okay, it ain't even in the same universe. Okay, but if you don't understand the nature of the male, you might really think that this chick over here got a shot because I was looking for him. I was like, ooh, look at that. Right? Or, ooh, let me sneak and hit the like button right quick, right? Whatever, right? I'm just telling myself, but I'm not going to tell myself too much. But you don't know what I'm talking about. I'm a man. It's just real. Men and women are different. That's how we are, right? Men, they say men are dogs. Well, I do believe men are kind of like dogs a little bit. Like we have that doggish side. I hope somebody will back me up on this so I ain't putting myself out there by myself. But the thing is that the other thing about a good dog, though, is a dog has the capacity to be extremely loyal, but a dog also is going to be attracted by treats. He's going to be distracted by things that can lead to pleasure seeking or instant gratification or things that are pleasing to the eye or the stomach or whatever, right? And so that's what I think ends up leading women to be confused by men. So they'll look at I've seen these wonderful women, beautiful women, intelligent women, good women who would make excellent wives, the perfect women you bring home to mama. And I feel bad when I see a woman like that get jealous of some stripper with a big fat ass and her man notices the big ass. Most heterosexual men might notice that ass. But don't you think for a second that no decent man is going to bring that shit home to mama. I know a lot of guys who are smart guys, educated men, good men, husband material, who will stare at a big ass all day, but they will not bring a stripper with a 59-inch ass covered with tattoos home to their mama. They will never do that. Now, so again, I guess if your goal is like, I just want the man to want to come sleep with me and move on, then maybe you can go get you a 59-inch ass and you'll get all kinds of sex. Not that it's hard for a woman to get sex from men, but that might help. That'll probably get you a whole lot of male attention. But that ain't gonna, but if you're looking for like genuine love and the things that most decent women I know are kind of looking for, like maybe commitment, or I don't know, sometimes it's marriage, sometimes somebody just wants to be with you when you ain't fucking, like, that ain't gonna do it. That's not gonna, there's no way. Like this woman, I hate saying it like this, but there's really no way like a woman like that. Here you go. How can I say, let me say it in a polite way. By making herself into giving her this enormous circus-like ass, she's kind of made herself into a cartoon character. And let me show you. Let me show you. Here's an image of the booty. I mean, that's like a sideshow. It's like it's like a deformation. It's not even something that people are gonna look at and say, oh yeah, that's wifey right there, or you know what I mean. So it's weird talking about this because people probably think it's politically incorrect or it's sexist. But I mean, she's even agreeing with me. She's even doing a book right now saying that now that she's matured, now that she's not a 22-year-old anymore, she is looking back and thinking, that really wasn't the best move. I would be willing to bet you that She probably didn't have a father at home. You know, unfortunately, a lot of these poor young ladies, they don't have the daddy to give them the self-esteem. So they see they're trying to get male attention, but they're aiming for the wrong attention. It's almost like, I guess, if I don't know my way around China and I'm looking for a Chinese restaurant to eat at, I might go eat at the wrong restaurant thinking that that food is going to be good because it looks like a good Chinese restaurant, when really somebody say, no, you don't want to eat there, you want to eat here. Well, the reason you're going to the wrong restaurant is because you don't know what to look for. So a lot of times I see women chasing the wrong attention from men because they don't know. It's like nobody sits back and says, no, baby, that's not the attention that's going to benefit. That's not going to make you happy. That's that hit it and quit it attention. Now, if your goal is to go out here and just get it in and get your Amber Rose on, you know, like Amber Rose is into slut shaming and just fucking whoever she wants, then that's fine. I'm not here to judge that. I don't think anybody has a right to judge who you have sex with. Sex is natural. Sex is fun. Sex is why humans exist. So I'm not a sex shamer at all, but I don't see a lot of women kind of looking for that. I think that a lot of times they're looking for something different. So anyway, so basically in this article, she says that she got the injections started in 2006, and she says the injections have now caused her butt. Now listen to this. Listen to this shit. Her booty is now discolored and sagged, which has caused taunts and mean-spirited comments from many of her IG followers. So that means that so her ass is, I don't know if it's rotting or what. I mean, you know, so that's like the other side of the glamorous stripper life that nobody tells you about. So the next time you get jealous of a woman that has some sort of abnormal circus-sized ass, I want you to realize, like, a lot of like it's not natural to have all those chemicals in your butt, especially the illegal chemicals. That's not going to work out well for you. Barnes, who suffers from body dysmorphia disorder, is now trying to get the filler removed. So she's now trying to get a normal size booty, get it removed. She can't. She says she wrote in her memoir, "I am not my body, but I wanted a bigger butt." So I am not my body, but I wanted a bigger butt to keep young women from experiencing what she has gone through. She says, quote, "At one point, I wanted a bigger butt at any cost. But now I realize it could cost me my life, and that's why I wanted to bring the awareness to other women," Barnes said, according to the Daily Mail. "I was preoccupied and overly conscious of my body, my shape, before I got my butt done." Before the injections, Barnes said she tried exercising and would do squats to increase her booty, but it seemed to be working in reverse. Quote, "When a girl told me about the procedure, I jumped both feet in on that. I already had weight issues and I didn't like my body. It was just a recipe for disaster." Now listen, pay attention to the language. I did not like my body. Self-esteem. Self-esteem is huge, right? You know, and you know, and that makes me really sad, you know, because I don't think, you know, I just don't see women that do things like that actually winning and getting what they want. You know, I'm not going to tell anybody what to do. But I think that there's no reason, ladies, for you to feel bad or jealous when you see women like that getting all the attention. Just know, men, you know, we're kind of funny like that. We might look at something and notice it, whatever, but that doesn't mean that that's what we really want next to us. Again, that when you talk about that bring home to mama factor, like, you know, most men I know, like I have a PhD, you know, I went to school with some smart men that are millionaires and all that stuff. I don't know a single one of them that would bring a woman like that home to mama. They might have a woman like that as a side chick maybe or something, but that's not going to be the wife. You know, so that's just something for you to know. Fortunately, so far for Barnes, she hasn't developed any health complications from the injections, according to surgeon Dr. Gonzalo Mosquera. According to the British website Barcroft TV, Mosquera said, "We see a lot of complications with that. Some patients get a lot of symptoms, a lot of pain. They can't sleep. They can't lean on it. They can't rest. It's an awful illegal treatment." So, I mean, think about this. So you got this big fat ass. You can't hardly sit on it. You can't have no good sex because the booty like is in pain and deformed and going flat. Like, I don't know if it goes flat like a tire or if it leaks or I don't know. It's just crazy, right? So they said that she doesn't have many symptoms other than the size, besides the size and the lumps. But at any point in life, people can develop symptoms. She says, Barnes says it will cost more than $20,000 to undergo butt reconstruction surgery where the fillers are removed, and the procedure has its own health risks. Still, she says she will definitely get it done to stop the social media bullying and to look like the girl next door. Did you hear that? Yes or no? Tell me if you heard what I just said. Tell me if you heard what I just said. She's going to get it done to stop the social media bullying and to look like the girl next door. Some of y'all are the girl next door. Some of y'all are the sweet little girl that stays in the library, and you might be freaky behind closed doors, but that's okay. That's why God made you the way He made you. He made you enjoy sex because you're supposed to reproduce, right? But you're the girl next door. You're the one who went to college and you read all the books and you go to church on Sundays and you treat your man right and you cook him his breakfast and you do all the sweet things. You get along with his mama and all that, and you maybe have felt a little insecure or jealous of the lady with the circus-sized booty down the street because your man kind of glances at the booty when he's driving by. Sometimes he can't help it. Sometimes men, we just, sometimes it just happens. Things be happening. But think about this. She went all the way around the world. She left who she was to try to become this other thing. And now she's become this other thing and found out that the grass is always greener on the other side. Now she's trying to come back and she's trying to be you. Why? Well, maybe because she's 35 now and having the supersized circus booty ain't so cool when you're going up on 40, right? And so, I feel kind of bad for her. I really feel like nobody gave her that self-esteem early. Nobody taught her how the game works. Nobody taught her about men. It reminds me of an episode of The Twilight Zone or this old show that used to come on called Fantasy Island. Fantasy Island was this show. If some of y'all remember, tell me if you remember Fantasy Island. Yes or no, if you remember Fantasy Island. And Fantasy Island, it was a show where the show would start where they would give you whatever fantasy you wanted. You would tell them what your fantasy is, and this guy named Mr. Rourke would deliver your fantasy. There's a little short midget named Tattoo, and your plane would land. He would go, "The plane, boss, the plane," right? And then the plane would land, and you'd be at this beautiful island, and they would, whatever your fantasy was, they would make it happen. Cause like magic, they just had this magical ability. But what would always happen is whenever you got your fantasy, at first it would be great. But then after a while, you would see the dark side of the fantasy, and things would start getting worse and worse and worse. And then by the end, the person would be begging Mr. Rourke, like, please, please, please give me my old life back. Please give me my old life back, right? And that was the nature of the show. So this is what this makes me think about. It makes me think about Fantasy Island. She starts off looking for social media attention. That's her fantasy. She gets it. She's got millions of followers online, millions of these men giving her all this attention because she's got this big elephant booty, this big gigantic balloon or whatever, this beach ball strapped to her ass. And that's making her feel special. That's giving her attention. She's just craving this attention. She's loving this attention. Well, then when things go bad, the attention that you get, see, fame is a double-edged sword. I'm telling y'all. I know a little bit about having a little bit of fame. It can go both ways. That's why I don't pay much attention to it, honestly. I learned when I was 25. When I was 25, I was the most popular person on my campus because I used to write these really good articles for the campus paper. Everybody read my articles. That was my first experience with what it meant to be famous and to be in the public eye. At first, it's really cool. You're like, I'm the man. Everybody know me. Everybody loved me. I walked in the club. Everybody thought I was great. Shit, when that shit turns on your ass, it's a motherfucker, right? It becomes overwhelming. So I learned my lesson many years ago, and I felt that God was actually preparing me to be known on a national platform. Like it was like, okay, now you see both sides of that. So I learned not to worry about what people think, good or bad, right? Because it can change it in a drop of a dime. So for her, she's got millions of social media followers, adoring men who are like, oh, we love your big gigantic elephant booty, and we just think, I think you're the greatest, you so beautiful, you this, that, and the other, dropping in her DM. It's feeding her ego, like, giving her that old Aisha Curry. I guess Aisha Curry, maybe that's what Aisha should have thought about. She's talking about she wants that male attention. Well, the male attention is always out there. Men got extra attention they can always deliver on a woman as fine as Aisha Curry. Believe me, the attention's out there. We have an abundance of attention. But then what happens is, when things go bad, like when that booty starts to get deformed and starts to malfunction, then suddenly that positive attention becomes ridicule. You know, all the people who sat back and watched you, who didn't like what you were doing or were jealous of you, suddenly their haterology starts to grow to a cosmic level, right? And that becomes really overwhelming to the point where a lot of these social media bigwigs, these people that have these massive followings, they got to get therapists because they can't handle it when people start attacking them and hating them and all this other stuff. Like, I'm 47, I know how to turn this shit off. I know how to just remember that, you know, the internet's not real life, right? But a lot of young people can't do that because they grew up in the middle of this shit, and it's pretty terrible after a while. And so pay attention. At the end, she says, I want to look like the girl next door. And that's the great moral to that story. I'm so happy that she's writing a book to kind of, you know, help young ladies get their self-esteem. You know, because I don't think you want to build your self-esteem off male attention, because all that can go away. Again, you know, when you're 22 and you got this enormous, gigantic ass on steroids, maybe that's a great thing when you're 22, 23, 24. But you get like 35, 36, 37, and 40, it starts to look weird. And nobody takes you seriously, and everybody just sees you as a big walking ass, as a big ass with a body attached to it. That's what you become. The tail leads the dog. The ass walks the body, because that's all people know you. They're like, oh yeah, that's the girl with the big ass. So you always have to ask yourself, like, what do I want people to know about me? And again, some of y'all have nice asses already, you know, and it's okay, right? Some of you have, some of y'all ladies, I'm gonna tell you, this isn't just me being real. I have found in my life that the quiet girls, the girl next door, that they are better at sex than the woman who is letting her sexuality hang out. A lot of the women who have the best sex in the world are the ones where you got to earn your way to get that sex. And then when they let it unleash it on you, they become better than any porn star you've ever seen in your life. But, you know, but to me, I think that there's something to be said and to be respected about those women who carry themselves with dignity. And I feel that, and I felt compelled to talk about this topic, which is a little different from the stuff I normally talk about. I know it, but I talk about black people stuff, things that matter to black people. And I felt compelled to encourage those women to just say, keep it classy, keep being classy. You know, I think there's men out here that are smart enough that can see through all of that shit, and they're not going to be chasing, you know, just chasing an ass. The ass and the sex, all that does matter to a man, but a smart man, when he's picking the woman that he wants to bring home to his mama, remember, it's the bring home to mama factor, he's going to be looking at all the layers that go above that, right? So that's it. That's my thought. Let me see. That's because she was a porn star to begin with, boy. There you go. So, boom. All right. So maybe, I don't know. I don't judge. It's that's somebody's life. All right. So anyway, I'm going to get out of here, guys. Have a good day. And do me a favor, hit the thumbs up button before you go. Please hit the thumbs up button. Also, if you want a free e-copy of my book, It Takes a Village to Raise the Bar, you can go to drboycewatkins.net. That's drboycewatkins.net. And also, I'm going to be in Philadelphia this week. I'm doing an investing seminar all day long. You can learn more by going to drboycephiladelphia.com. That's drboycephiladelphia.com. If you want a 50% off discount, just use the code word Philly. Use the code word Philly at drboycephiladelphia.com. You get 50% off. Also, last but not least, Blag Enough is the name of our new social media platform. This is Facebook for black people, basically. So everybody who's getting banned from Facebook, if they ban you just because you were breathing that day like they do me, then feel free to join us at Blag Enough, and we will never ban you for anything. So hit the thumbs up button before you go. I'm out of here, guys. Have a good day. I'll see you soon. Be good. Peace.